What's up, Broncos Country? Look, Denver Broncos family, what happened at Mile High wasn't just a loss. It was a reality check that Sean Payton didn't let slide, and the coach spoke some truths that hurt, but needed to be said. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover about this 11-game winning streak that was snapped will make you think differently about this team. And before I get into the heavy details of this loss, if you're true Broncos Country, hit that subscribe button right now, because what's coming ahead this season is going to be intense, and you can't miss any of it. So here we go. Sunday night, Mile High Stadium. The team that had been undefeated for 3 whole months got crushed by the Jaguars. Final score, 34-20. But it's not the score that matters here. It's what happened after the lights went out. Sean Payton walked into the press conference and didn't come with coach talk, didn't come with ready-made excuses, didn't come with that same old conversation. The man showed up and laid it out straight. And you know what he said? That the team can't spit out this loss. They have to swallow it. They have to digest it. They have to feel it in their bones. And it doesn't stop there, because Sean Payton isn't one of those coaches who throws players under the bus when things get tough. The guy was direct. He looked everyone in the eye and said it started with him. The loss, the strategy that didn't work, the defense that gave up too many points, all of that starts with the coach. And he owned it in front of everyone. But hold on, there's more. Because this loss wasn't just a hit on the scoreboard. It was a lesson in what happens when you underestimate your opponent. And this is where things get really interesting. On Wednesday before the game, Sean Payton was praising the Jaguars, saying they're a good team, organized, dangerous. But he dropped a phrase that became pure fuel for Jacksonville. He said the Jaguars are a small market team. Just that. It seemed like a compliment, but the Jaguars coach, Liam Cohen, took that phrase and turned it into motivation. After the win, Cohen walked into his press conference and kept it real with a little smirk. He thanked them for a small market team like Jacksonville being able to come into Mile High and do what they did. It was a direct jab at Sean Payton, and it worked perfectly. The Jacksonville players got in on it, too. Brenton Strange, Jaguars' tight end, was walking off the field all smiles, taking off his shirt and repeating the same thing. Small market team. Small market team. They used it as a rallying cry. And look, Broncos Country. This wasn't a coincidence. This was planning. This was an entire locker room motivated by a phrase that sounded like disrespect, even if that wasn't Payton's intention. Sean Payton later tried to explain, said it was a compliment, that he spent 16 years in a small market in New Orleans and knows how hard it is to get recognition. But it was too late. The damage was done. Jacksonville had what they needed. Now let's talk about the game itself, because it was a lesson in how not to defend against a hot quarterback. Trevor Lawrence took the field with a chip on his shoulder and had one of the best performances of his career. 23 of 36 passes completed, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, rating of 115.4, and the defense that was dominating the league, the defense that had 58 sacks on the season, the defense that was among the best in practically every statistic, gave up 34 points, allowed explosive plays, lost at the line of scrimmage, failed in coverage. Parker Washington, Jaguars wide receiver, had the game of his life. 6 receptions on 10 targets, 145 yards, and a touchdown. His average was 24.2 yards per reception. 24.2. That's not a reception, family. That's a guided missile. Riley Moss, Broncos cornerback, must be having nightmares about Parker Washington right now. Because the guy got burned repeatedly. 90 yards after the catch, 70 yards above expected. It was a technical massacre. And there's more. Lawrence had the best performance of his career when he wasn't being pressured. 18.3 EPA, which is a metric that measures quarterback efficiency. 11.1 yards per pass attempt in less than 2.5 seconds. The Broncos' defense couldn't get to him when they needed to. Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator, must be pulling his hair out reviewing the film of this game. Because it wasn't just one player who failed, it was the entire system. It was multiple broken coverages, it was missed tackles, it was adjustments that didn't come, and Sean Payton didn't run from it. He was direct in the press conference, said the team was beaten in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, everything, and that it starts with him, with the planning, with the preparation. But here's the part that separates mediocre coaches from champion coaches. Payton didn't let the team fool themselves. He said part of the process is not deceiving yourself, not pretending everything's fine when it's not blaming luck, the refs, the field. Jacksonville was better, period, and he used that heavy metaphor. You can't spit out this loss. You have to swallow it, even if it hurts, even if it burns going down, because that's how you learn, that's how you get better. And look, family, this is leadership. This is a coach who's not afraid to look at his own navel and admit he was wrong. Because it would be easy to blame the players. It would be easy to say it was bad luck. But Payton didn't do that. Now let's talk about Bo Nix, because the rookie quarterback also had a complicated night. He completed 28 of 47 passes, 352 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. But it wasn't just the statistics. He also lost a fumble. And after the game, Bo said something interesting. He said the team got punched in the mouth, that Jacksonville played well, and Denver let it slip away. But then comes the mature part of what he said. He said it's better to take this punch now than in the first playoff game. Think about that. Broncos Country. A rookie talking with veteran maturity, saying the loss now serves as a recalibration, as a reset for what's ahead. Because if this team gets to the playoffs thinking they'll win just by showing up, they'll take another bath just like they did Sunday. Bo was also emphatic. Said this loss can't linger in anyone's head. They have to turn the page quickly because there's already another game coming. And what a game. Thursday, Christmas Day, against the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, that Kansas City that's without Patrick Mahomes. That might also be without backup Gardner Minshew because of a possible knee injury. But Sean Payton already warned. After what happened against Jacksonville, you can't underestimate anyone, not even a team that's shorthanded. Because that's exactly what opened the door for the Jaguars. And the Broncos defense, that's the biggest concern now. Because it wasn't just a bad game, it was multiple system breakdowns. It was coverages that failed at critical moments. It was adjustments that didn't happen. Sean Payton was asked if this is an exception or if it's become a concern. His answer was direct. It has to be an exception. Because if it becomes the rule, this team won't go far in the playoffs. Simple as that. And he continued, said the team needs to look in the mirror. Needs to analyze if they're doing too much, if they're complicating things where it should be simple. Because sometimes you lose not because the opponent is better, but because you trip yourself up. And that was clear in the game. Silly penalties. 6 penalties for 61 yards. Missed tackles. A trick play that went wrong. All of that adds up. All of that makes a difference against good teams. And Jacksonville is good. 11 wins and 4 losses. Trevor Lawrence playing the best football of his career. Liam Cohen, first-year coach, doing a spectacular job. They're not a team to be underestimated. And the Broncos learned that the hard way. But here's the positive side, family. Because yes, there is a positive side to all this. The Broncos are still 12-3. They still control their own destiny. If they win the last 2 games of the regular season, they clinch the division and are well-positioned for the playoffs. And this loss might be exactly what the team needed. Because when you're winning too much, sometimes you relax without realizing it. You start thinking you'll win just by showing up. And then you take a punch in the face that wakes you up. Bo Nix said exactly that. Better to take this punch now and use it as a learning experience than get to the playoffs overconfident and exit in the first round. Because in the postseason knockout rounds, there's no margin for error. 1 loss, and you go home. And there's another important point here. Sean Payton is building a culture. A culture where you don't fool yourself with your own victories, where you take responsibility when you lose, where you look in the mirror and tell the truth, even if it hurts. That's what separates teams that make the playoffs from teams that win Super Bowls. Because any team can have a good winning streak, but few teams have the maturity to look at a loss and extract real lessons from it. And look, Broncos Country. The moment of truth is coming. Because now the heavy part of the season begins. Now begins the phase where each game matters more than the previous one, where one mistake can cost everything. And the pressure is higher because the Chargers are right behind in the standings. If Los Angeles wins their game, the last week of the regular season could turn into a division decider, could turn into an all-or-nothing game at Mile High, and possibly in prime time with the whole country watching. So this loss against Jacksonville isn't just a stumble. It's a test. It's a question the team needs to answer. Are you capable of dealing with adversity? Can you get up after taking a punch? Do you have the mentality necessary to fight for a title? And Sean Payton has already given the direction. He said the team showed the ability to digest victories and move forward every week. Now they need to do the same with the loss. Need to process what happened, learn from the mistakes, and turn the page. And look at the timing couldn't be worse. Short week, game on Christmas Day. Against a division rival that, even shorthanded, will fight until the last second. There's no time for lamenting. There's no space for drama. They have to swallow the loss and move on to the next. And here's another important lesson Sean Payton is teaching. In football, you don't have the luxury of dwelling on losses. The season is fast. The games come one after another. If you stay stuck on what happened on Sunday, you'll lose Thursday's game. And that goes for the defense, too. Because those 34 points allowed need to become fuel, not weight on their backs. Every missed tackle, every broken coverage, every yard allowed has to become study material, has to become an adjustment, has to become motivation to do better in the next game. Because look, family, this defense is good, very good. 58 sacks in the season isn't luck. It's work, it's technique, it's execution. One bad game doesn't erase everything that's been built up to now. But it also can't be ignored. Vance Joseph needs to watch the film and make the necessary adjustments. Needs to identify where the system failed. Needs to see if players were in the right positions or if there were communication errors. And the players also need to look in the mirror. Patrick Surtain, Riley Moss, Nick Bonito, all of them. Because defense isn't just about individual talent. It's about working as a unit. It's about trusting that your teammate will do his part so you can do yours. And when a coverage breaks, when a tackle is missed, when an explosive play happens, it's usually not just one guy who screwed up. It's a chain of small failures that added up became disaster. So this week's work is going to be surgical. It's going to be detailed. It's going to be intense. Because there's no margin for error against Kansas City. Even without Mahomes, even shorthanded, any NFL team can surprise you if you slack off. And Sean Payton knows that better than anyone. The guy has decades of experience in the league. He's seen everything. He's won a Super Bowl. He's lost games he should have won. He's won games he should have lost. He knows that in football, anything can happen. That's why he didn't let the team fool themselves. That's why he hammered on humility. That's why he took responsibility. Because if the coach doesn't lead by example, how can he demand it from the players? And here's a hard truth, Broncos Country. This loss might have been the best thing that happened to the team at this moment. Because 11 straight wins creates a bubble, creates a sense of invincibility. And when you think you're invincible, you stop doing the things that got you there. You stop studying the opponent in as much detail. You stop executing the fundamentals perfectly. You start trusting more in talent than in work. And then comes a team like Jacksonville, motivated, prepared, executing perfectly, and gives you a reality check. So yes, this loss hurts. Hurts a lot. especially at home, in front of the fans, with the chance to further consolidate the conference lead, but it might be the necessary shock to wake the team up for what's ahead, because the playoffs don't forgive. In the playoffs, everyone is good, everyone is prepared, everyone wants to win. If you come in relaxed, if you come in overconfident, you exit in the first round and spend the rest of the time watching other teams fight for the title. And nobody here wants that, right, family? Nobody wants to see this season end early. Nobody wants to see all the work of the last months go down the drain because of lack of focus. So this week is crucial. It's defining. It's the moment where the team shows what it's made of, shows if it has the fiber to get up after falling, shows if it learned the lessons Sean Payton is trying to teach. And Bo Nix also has an important role here because he's the leader of the offense. He's the guy who commands the huddle. He's the quarterback who needs to project confidence to his teammates, even after a bad night. And the way he spoke after the game shows he understands that, shows he has the maturity necessary to be the leader of this team, not just now, but for years to come. Because rookies usually look for excuses. Bo looked for lessons. And that's huge, family. That's a champion mentality, because anyone can play well when they're winning. The hard part is keeping your head straight when you're losing. It's continuing to believe when things aren't working, and Sean Payton is building exactly that. A team that doesn't crumble in adversity, a team that doesn't look for excuses, a team that looks in the mirror, sees its own mistakes, and works to fix them. Now let's talk about what's ahead. Because the calendar doesn't stop. Thursday there's a game, Christmas Day, prime time, everyone watching. And the Broncos need to show a response. Kansas City might be without Mahomes, but they're still Kansas City, still a team that knows how to win, still a franchise that has a winning culture. Underestimating them would be repeating the same mistake that was made against Jacksonville. And Sean Payton has made it clear that won't happen. He's already warned the team, no relaxing, no thinking it'll be easy, no thinking it's a one game before playing. Because if there's one thing this loss against Jacksonville taught, it's that any team can beat you if you don't respect your opponent. Any team can surprise you if you're not 100% focused. And the Chiefs will come in motivated. They'll come in wanting to ruin the Broncos' party. They'll come in wanting to prove that even without the league's best quarterback, they're still dangerous. So this week's work is going to be as mental as it is physical. It's going to be about recovering confidence without falling into the trap of arrogance. It's going to be about correcting mistakes without losing identity. It's going to be about remembering what made this team good without forgetting what can make it great. And the fans, Broncos Country, you have a role in this too, because Thursday Mile High needs to be boiling, needs to be a cauldron, needs to be intimidating for the visiting team from the first snap. And look, family, I know this loss hurt. I know seeing that 11-game winning streak get broken was frustrating. I know watching the team give up 34 points was hard. But it's in these moments that the true fans show up. It's easy to root when you're winning everything. It's easy to celebrate when the team is flying. The hard part is continuing to believe when things get tight. It's continuing to support when the team stumbles. So Thursday is about that too. It's about showing that Broncos Country is here not just in victories, but also in defeats. That this family doesn't abandon the team when things get difficult. Because in the end, that's what separates common fans from special fans. It's the ability to be present not just in moments of glory, but also in moments of rebuilding. And this loss against Jacksonville, it's a rebuilding moment. It's an opportunity to show character. It's a chance to prove this team is bigger than one bad game. Sean Payton has already set the tone, took responsibility, spoke hard truths, held himself accountable before holding others accountable. Now it's time for the players to respond. It's time for the team to show they learned the lesson. And family, let me tell you something. I believe in this team. I believe in this coach. I believe in this rookie quarterback who's showing maturity beyond his years. I believe in this defense that, even having a bad game, is one of the best in the league. But believing doesn't mean being blind. It means recognizing the problems and trusting they'll be solved. It means seeing the mistakes and having faith they'll be corrected. It means understanding that the path to greatness is full of obstacles. And Jacksonville was an obstacle, a big, hard obstacle that left marks. But obstacles exist to be overcome, and the way you respond to them defines who you are. So Thursday isn't just another game. It's a statement. It's a response. It's the team telling the rest of the league that a stumble doesn't define the season, that one loss doesn't change the goal, that Broncos Country is alive and strong. And I want to see all of you there, whether at the stadium or at home watching, but making noise, posting on social media, showing support. Because the team needs to feel that the fans believe. If you're watching this far, family, it's because you're true Broncos Country. So subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, because the next games will define everything, and you can't miss any analysis, any detail, any reaction. And look, I'll tell you one last thing. Sean Payton isn't a coach who quits. He's not a coach who hangs his head. He's a coach who uses adversity as fuel, who turns criticism into motivation, who takes defeat and turns it into a lesson. And if there's anyone capable of making this team learn from what happened against Jacksonville and come out stronger on the other side, it's him. Because he's done it before. He's rebuilt teams. He's won championships. He's proven he knows the way. So trust the process, family. Trust the work. Trust the players. But most importantly, trust that Broncos Country is bigger than any defeat. So what do you think, Denver Broncos family? Was this loss the wake-up call the team needed? Is Sean Payton right to be this demanding? Comment below. Leave your like to boost the algorithm. Share with that friend who's down after this loss. And remember, Thursday, there's a game. Christmas Day. And we'll be here analyzing everything, every play, every decision, every moment, because Broncos Country never stops. We go all the way, always. Until the next video, family. And may Thursday bring us back to celebrating a victory at Mile High.